Falcon and the Winter Soldiers had 2 episodes so far. And last week's episode I really liked, even though it wasn't action-packed. It was a very different storytelling approach for the MCU to do. They hit themes of racism, PTSD and depression, and I appreciated it and I respect the writers going to that length to tell that kind of story because it is risky, and I like how the MCU is embracing some of those elements and it makes it feel more grounded. Now at the end of episode 1 we were introduced to the new Captain America, and that's something I didn't really like because earlier on in that episode Sam, who was given the shield by Captain America to be the next Captain America, gives up the shield to the government, and the government say you made the right decision. Okay, but by the end of the episode, we have a new Captain America, John Walker, who is white. So I didn't like that as well. That was very racist. I thought the show wasn't holding back by conveying that. But going into this episode, of course, we were going to hate this new Captain America because it wasn't Steve Rogers. And online last week, I got to see a lot of people saying they were very upset and did not like this character already. But at the start of this episode, it does a pretty good job of introducing John Walker as a new Captain America, but also doing something that I thought was important. A bit of humanization for the character, because we got to see the character's background. He was a soldier himself. He won many awards, medals, honors, stuff like that. He's very decorated in being a soldier. And we get to see him have a conversation with his wife, conversation with his best friend about, is he good enough to hold this mantle up? Can he be a great Captain America? And he's struggling with that. So that was interesting to see. And it's a nice parallel to what Sam was struggling with in episode 1 with the shield also. So I did like that. And he's getting ready for his parade. There's a big parade for the new Captain America. You've got the media, cameras everywhere, parade, people cheering, all that kind of stuff for this new Captain America. And it's very much of a publicity stunt to show America we have a new Captain America. We're safe now and the world is a better place. So yeah, we had that. I actually like that they give a bit of background to that character. But we also have Sam and Bucky in this episode as well. And they finally meet and reunite. And Sam is on the way to Munich to investigate the group called the Flag Smashers. They go to Munich to see what exactly is going on with them. Now the Flag Smashers are an interesting group because on the surface, they don't seem like a terrorist group. They seem like they're doing the right thing or trying to do the right thing. Now, of course, Sam and Bucky are trying to stop this group because of their actions, and maybe the way they do things isn't the best way to do it. Now, pretty cool action sequence on the highway or on the road. You got 2 lorries. Flag Smashers are kind of smuggling and trying to move vaccines, medication and stuff. So that seems like they're doing a good thing right there. But Sam and Bucky try to stop them. And on this highway, on this road, there's a pretty awesome action sequence. Really enjoyed it. Now, it was a bit choppy at times. I would have liked it a little bit more if it was more Winter Soldier action. With the camera, doesn't cut as much. It stays on the frame and you get to see the action happen. But it's just this director's choice to do that in this one. But I thought it was still very interesting and very good. Now, the Flag Smashers, their goal is to make the world realize it was better during the blip. Now, they think that when Thanos did the snap and half of population went away, they thought the world was in a better place because everybody was cared for. Kind of borders were gone, countries came together, everyone was helped. Now, since Tony Stark has unsnapped the snap by a snap, there you go now, they think that it's leaving people behind, people in poverty. It's not caring for people as much anymore because the world is back the way it used to be. And they're trying to show the world, or maybe make the world back into the blip world. So they're smuggling these vaccines and this medication. And on the surface, they seem like a good group, but maybe their intentions will be shown in later episodes. Now, there's about 8 or 9 of them, and they're super soldiers. They've taken the serum. They have strength, speed, all that kind of stuff. Like a Captain America or like a Bucky, they very much do have powers. Now, in this kind of highway sequence, it's pretty good because Bucky and Sam have met their match. These guys are pretty powerful and pretty strong. And who comes to save the day? Only the new Captain America, John Walker, and his sidekick, Battlestar. Well, in the comics he becomes Battlestar, and there was even a mention of Battlestar in this episode, but it's Lamar Hoskins, his sidekick, his kind of Falcon, because I thought it was a nice parallel because you have Bucky and Sam working together, and they're kind of, they're trying to do their own thing, but then you have this new Captain America, and you have this Battlestar come in as well to try and do their job. So you have the new Captain America, you have Battlestar working for the government, and you have Sam and Bucky who are kind of free agents and trying to get their job done as well. But John Walker comes and saves the day. But Sam has to save Bucky, who's on the side of the lorry. While he's saving him, the two of them get thrown into the field and they end up missing the end of the action, where the Flag Smashers easily enough beat up John Walker and Battlestar and take care of them pretty quickly. Because John Walker doesn't have powers. He's not a Steve Rogers. He's not a Bucky. He's got the shield, so that should count for something. He should have some sort of an advantage. But neither him or Hoskins have any abilities, so they're beaten pretty quickly. And one bad blow, and the two of them, one of them could be dead, so that's how easy it is for those two. So yeah, they didn't really save the day in the end. We had a nice kind of exchange where Bucky and Sam were walking back, trying to get back to the airport because they failed their mission. And you have Captain America, you have Battlestar, they roll up in the truck and say, get in, we'll bring you. And the two guys don't want it. They don't trust him. They don't like this new Captain America because Steve Rogers stood for a lot more than just the shield or just the suit. He was a good guy. He presented himself in the right way, and he chose Sam to be the next Captain America. And Bucky's very upset at this, that Sam gave up the shield. But they don't trust this John Walker whatsoever. And it's interesting because when we see John Walker at the start of the episode, we feel bad for the guy. We there's a personality there. We feel bad. But when he's in the public eye, when he has the suit on, he's a bit of a douche. His personality overtakes in this scene right here. And then later on at the end of the episode, he tells Sam and Bucky not to get in his way because they won't work with him. So he does have a kind of a douchey element to him. And he isn't like a Steve Rogers in that aspect. But when we first meet him, he's vulnerable. When he has the suit on, he's very much playing it up and saying, I'm the Captain America, don't get in my way. So yeah, we'll have to see how that develops big time. But Sam and Bucky don't want nothing to do with him because he was chosen to be Captain America by the government, not by Steve Rogers, that kind of thing. So, but there's also an interesting one because Sam and Bucky go and visit an old man. And this old man fought in the Korean War. And it's actually an interesting backstory and something I'd actually like to see maybe done in a series or some sort of movie. Because after Steve went into ice, America got a new Captain America, and it was a black Captain America, and he fought the Winter Soldier in the Korean War, 1951, I think it was. So that's interesting. When Bucky was being controlled by Hydra, a bad guy killing people, they got a new serum, they gave it to this guy, this new Captain America who was black, and sent him into the war to fight Bucky. Now Bucky, whoever he came across, he beat and he killed, but he did not beat and he did not kill this the black Captain America, and he actually fought him, and I actually think he beat him as well. He took his arm off, is what he said in the episode. So I thought that was interesting. But this old man who was aged, I don't know how that's worked, maybe he only had the powers for so long, but he's aged, and he's completely out of it. He doesn't look well whatsoever, and we find out that after he came back, he was experimented on, he was put into prison, for 30 years. He didn't have this kind of happy life like Steve Rogers did when he came out. I know he fought with the Avengers, but he was able to have his downtime as well. It seems to be that this guy didn't have any of that whatsoever. He wasn't treated like a hero. He was treated more like, and that's more of the racial tones being brought back into this series, which I appreciate big time, that they were being racist to him, and they did not treat him right because he was black. Even though they chose him to be the next Captain America, they didn't treat him like it whatsoever after he had done what the American government wanted him to do. So that was actually very hurtful to see, and he tells Sam and Bucky to get out of his house, and this man is pretty much hurt. And you see the opposite of it, of the Steve Rogers who lamented museums, artifacts, he got his shield, his suit up in the museum, and people are just lamenting Steve Rogers as this great Captain America. But you have this other guy who's forgotten about, who did probably just as good as Steve Rogers did. And yeah, that was hard to see. And even Sam was a bit pissed off at that, like, why did nobody tell me this? How long have you known? Did Steve know? And Bucky was like, I didn't want to tell him because I didn't want to bring any I just didn't want to annoy him about it and stuff like that. So that was hard to see. But as the two of them were walking down the street, the police pull up because they see Sam and Bucky kind of having a confrontation, fighting, not literally fighting, but abusing each other verbally over the issue. And the police they show up and they ask Bucky, is this man bothering you? And again, the racial tone is hit again, because last week I talked about is when Sam's in his Falcon suit, everyone loves him. Get a picture with the Falcon, but when he's in his civilian clothes and when he's not up to hero stuff, he's very much looked down upon. The bank won't help him. The police look at him now and think that he's automatically bothering a white man, and they're going to arrest him until they realise that he is the Falcon. So it just shows there again that these heroes, these superheroes may be superheroes, but if they're black, if they're a different colour, if they're from somewhere else, they will be treated in a racist way still, even though they've helped and saved the world. So I think that's a very interesting team to hit by the writers, and I appreciate it, and it's awesome writing from the writing team, and fair play to them. But then the officers realise that it's the Falcon. They treat him differently, but they actually have to arrest Bucky because Bucky has missed his meetings with his therapist. And even though he's pardoned by the government, if you miss that, you get arrested. So he has to go back, and the therapist has a meeting with Sam and Bucky. And Sam and Bucky kind of have a true out. They talk about things in an honest way. And Bucky's afraid that if Steve Rogers was afraid about you, Sam, being the next Captain America, maybe he was wrong about me redeeming myself and being good again. So that's what's bothering Bucky big time. The absence of Steve Rogers is overall in every episode of this show, I bet, and it's a big arc, and it really is a Captain America show, Steve Rogers show, Chris Evans show, without even having Chris Evans show up. So yeah, and by the end of the episode, they're going to see Zemo to see if he can help them kind of see where these flag smashers are coming from or where to find them and stuff like that. So overall, this episode was pretty great. I enjoyed it big time. I actually thought last week's episode was pretty great as well, even though it didn't have much action. The action in this episode, pretty good, awesome stuff, but some of the acting, some of the writing, just absolutely top notch, and I loved it big time. And I can't wait for episode 3. Slowly but surely, this show is picking up the pace, and yeah, I think it's great. I'm actually into this a little bit more than WandaVision. WandaVision had this kind of mystery to it. This has just this storytelling with these characters, and I want to see how it develops. I want to see how John Walker develops as a character as well. Zemo should be interested. I'm interested to see how that's introduced next week as well and see where that goes. But overall, really appreciate the show so far. Really enjoyed. Looking forward to episode 3 next week. But guys, what's your thoughts on Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Season 1, maybe there'll just be one season, but episode 2, The Star Spangled Man. I enjoyed it, I liked it, might watch it again, it was that damn good. But guys, get in the comments, let me know, give a like, comment, subscribe, come follow me on all the social media, that stuff is in the end credits. And can these guys live up to the mantle that Steve Rogers set? Can they be the next Captain America? We'll have to wait and see.